gonna be in New York by 12 if I'm leaving here by 1? Hello, beautiful. My name is Giselle, co-host of the Strong Sunflowers podcast and founder of G is for Growth. And today, baby, first of all, I've been home for like a month now, I think, or like 2 weeks. But baby, let's talk about my birthday nightmare, because I was like, it could be a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare. Either way, I was pissed, but let's get into it. So before we start, make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you wanna see more G is for Growth, more story time, more growth with G, all of those above. Anywho, so earlier this year, first of all the way from last year, I wanted to go for my birthday to Egypt. And I was like, okay, let's book our flight, blah, blah, blah. It never happened. My friend Monica actually went to Egypt without me with her husband. I ended up going to Spain. I had a freaking amazing time. I loved it. But I was like, babe, this year I'm not waiting for no motherfucking body. I gotta go. So I booked my flight to Egypt in January. Mind you, January of 2023, baby, we in November. I booked my flight. I've been so excited. I've been telling everybody I'm going to Egypt. So it's October 21st. I'm super excited. I fly from like my small hometown airport because I don't have time. You know, I'm bougie now. This is 30. So I get to the airport. The guy's like, your flight has been canceled. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean my flight's been canceled? I already took off 2 weeks of work. What do you mean my flight's been canceled? So I call my credit card. I have Chase Sapphire Reserve, and I love them, by the way. If you don't have the card, I'm gonna put my link in the bio so we can both get those points for you signing up. But anywho, I'm calling them, my agent, like, cause I booked my flight through them. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? It says my flight's canceled, like, what's going on? So what had happened was, they pushed my flight from my home airport to New York an hour or 2 hours. I was supposed to leave at 11 a.m. and arrive to New York around, I think it was like 3. And then they pushed my flight to 1 p.m. And my flight from Egypt to Cairo was supposed to leave at 5 p.m. They changed my flight from 5 p.m. to fucking 12 p.m. I'm like, bitch, how the fuck am I gonna be in New York by 12 if I'm leaving here by 1? Making no motherfucking sense. I was livid. I'm over here calling them. I was flying with Egypt Air. Like, me and them got some beef because what the fuck, Egypt Air? Seriously. Anywho, like, the agent is like calling Egypt Air to see what the hell is going on. They're not picking up. They are closed on the fucking weekends. So this was a Saturday. He's like, oh, they're closed on the weekends. Let me call their 24/7 number. Disconnected. At a freaking cobertura. I was like, like literally, it was just crazy. The guy's like, there's not much that I can do for you except if you book a flight from where you are right now and go to New York and then talk to the people at the kiosk place so then they can get you better answers. We also looked at the flights that they had. I guess they only had one flight to Cairo from New York with Egypt Air, and it flew every day at 12. I'm like, what the hell? First of all, the agent was like calling, and I think he like did some things on the computer, and he noticed that they made this change for my flight in February. And they're like, we tried to reach you like after the fact. I'm like, my nigga, I know I'm hard to find, but 10 motherfucking months? You couldn't have reached me in 10 months? No email, no text, no call? Like, really? Really? You playing games now? And I was so pissed. I'm looking at flights from my home airport and they're $900 one way. I'm like, you got me fucked up. I was like, you know what? I don't have time. They're like, oh, we can do... I ain't got time for that. I go on my phone real quick. I go back to my Chase travel portal. I find tickets from Tampa airport to New York, $200, same motherfucking less. My friend had just dropped me off at the airport, and then I had to call her back and ask her if she could take me to Tampa. So now we're on our way to Tampa airport to catch this flight to New York and see if we can make it. Can we make it? We'll find out. I guess so. Maybe. Anywho, sweet dream and a beautiful nightmare because everything went so smooth in the sense that even though everything was a shit show in the morning, like by this time it's like 1 p.m. at the airport and I booked my flight. I find a flight for New York at 4 p.m. from Tampa airport. I literally get out of the airport, drive to Tampa, it's like an hour and some change from my house. So we get there around like 2 something, almost 3, like baby boarding time. Good thing if you don't have TSA, global pre-check, baby, global entry, what you doing? You need to get all that shit because you got places to be. So I literally get to the airport, check my bag, do all those things, bam, 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 back to back, get on the plane. Next thing you know, I'm in New York. It's 8 p.m. I get to New York. I'm calling my agent like, hey, surprise, surprise. There's no one fucking here. Like their kiosk is closed because they only have 1 flight. They fucking close. They like do their little 1 flight at 12 p.m. and then everybody fucking goes home. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was so frustrated, but so the Strong Sunflowers podcast, every year we have a building to bloom, and October is all about mental health. And I think that's what saved me because I was working on my mental health. And kid you not, when you are good up here, literally the world can be fucking falling apart. And you're like, baby, let's find solutions because we ain't got time to be crying. Okay, let's find solutions. So I didn't even care at this point. I was like, you know what? I knew I had to get out of Tampa because if I stayed home, then I couldn't have found any tickets. But baby, we in New York, okay? We in New York. JFK, like we can go anywhere. I was looking at flights to Greece. I was looking at flights to Europe. Like I don't even care where I'm going at this point. Like I just know I'm going somewhere. So we called the people again and he's like, oh, well, the people at the kiosk don't come back till 5 a.m. the next day. So what you want to do? Basically, in the nice way. They were really nice. And I was like, who the hell is sleeping at the airport? Like I'm not sleeping at the airport. It's going to be a no for me. So I got on my little travel. Again, by this time it's like 10 p.m. I get on my little travel chase page and I start looking at tickets to Cairo. Baby, found a ticket to Cairo, booked it right then and there. It was leaving at 12 a.m., like literally in 2 hours. I checked my bag. I got my ass on that plane and I was like, deuces. Like they figured everything out later and now I have like 1,700 points maybe to book another flight. Where the fuck we going? We going somewhere. 2024 is gonna be lit. But mind you, talk about a fucking adventure. So I booked my flight. It's through Delta, but it's operated by Air France. So next thing you know, I have an 8-hour layover in freaking Paris, France. So I get to go to Paris. I take my ass out of the airport. I go on the train. I have my little backpack. I go see the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower is beautiful, but Paris itself, like I wouldn't travel there. You know what I mean? It's a very like food, views, not even views, because all you have is the Eiffel Tower basically, and museums. And that's not my vibe. I like to be able to explore and have beautiful places. Paris is a little ghetto. Like Paris is full of graffiti. Like it was a lot. So I'm just glad that I got it over with, check that off the mark, and yeah, I probably will never go back to Paris. But I got on my little bus. The train. I'm so glad that last year I went to Spain because Spain's bus transit, like, and their trains are A1. Like their subway is so easy to understand. So I had no problems. I got out of the airport. I took my ass on the train to the Eiffel Tower. I had crepes with banana and coconut flakes, and I walked around, and I was like, I only have 8 hours. Like I don't have time to be walking. So I got one of those like tour buses, and it took me all over the city. I got to see the crystal shape looking thing. I don't know what it's called. The Mauve, I don't know. It's a museum in there. I think that's where the Mona Lisa is. Don't quote me on that. But I got to see that. I got to see like old streets, shopping, all of the things. I had a hot cocoa. I was up on the top, so like I got the view of the city. It was a little cold. I was there in late October. But after that, I took my ass back to the airport, got on another flight, and made it to Cairo at like 5 a.m. Talk about a freaking adventure. This is my 28th birthday, and I got to go to Cuba, France, and Cairo. It's a lot. It was a lot. But I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Hopefully next year is not this crazy, because even though everything worked out, baby, a bitch is tired. Okay, a bitch is tired. But I did vlog most of my adventures, so make sure that you subscribe to my channel and you go check out all those other videos if you want to learn more about Cairo, Egypt, Alexandria, I went to Hurghada, Luxor, Aswan, Nubian village. If you want to see all that, baby, subscribe. Go check out those videos. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.